Oh, it's really changing rapidly. It's really a full-time job keeping up with the ever-changing trade, the transactions and the traits. It's coming. Biotechnology is changing everything. Germplasm. It's become very, very complex and complicated. What used to be, I used to spend 80% of my time working seed and working with customers and agronomics. I don't do any of that anymore because all my time is devoted now to transactions and legal agreements, compliance. You got regulatory issues. It's become a very complicated business. And with that said, though, that's lends our support, leads us to have more need for, by the customer needs our services even more so because we devote so much time to all these issues that's going on with products and entering into the marketplace. So it's an exciting time, but it's a challenging time, a complicated time, and trying to figure out what the needs of the grower will be. See, we're trying to predict what a grower will need for the next 5 years, and we're developing products to do that with our originators of germplasm and trait providers. So it's constantly changing, and as I sit here today, I wish I knew what it was going to look like next year, which is always its challenge. As far as next 5 to 10 years, that's a very interesting question. Personally, I might be too much of an optimistic. I think it's going to be better than ever in the licensing business. I see more need for our services. We become the eyes and ears, especially for the independent seed companies. It looks very promising. If the industry stays its current structure, which I'm optimistic it will, we still have upwards of 200 seed companies. There's always that concern about a shrinking business. We all know about mergers and acquisitions, and that will continue to happen. But there's still a big segment of the marketplace, between 20 and 30% of the market, that remains as independent. And that's a very significant U.S. market. And with that said, I think they will need a licensing business to go forward with, because as we said, it gets more complicated, and the independents just can't afford to spend all their time worrying about compliance issues, regulatory issues, the supply and demand of trait technology, and what the grower will demand for the future. Their focus is on their own grower or their own customer network, and that's where they should be. So I'm quite optimistic.